write another Seinfeld episode, did you, sweetie? It's over.
No, this is a new play. A friend of mine wrote it, and it's wonderful. I'm going to show it to Mr. Sheffield. He'll love it, produce it. I'll be his partner, become rich, and finally be able to get out of this stinking, rotten excuse for an existence. Not that it hasn't been a blast. I have something very important to discuss with you, and I know you'll listen since you have great respect for my opinions.
Oh, by the way, have you scraped off my rocking boots like I asked?
Yes. So I've discovered a wonderful new play that I would consider selling, giving to Sheffield Productions in exchange for becoming a partner.
Oh, well, maid, fire that maid. She's too old. Oh, she fished me out of the lake years ago. How did she get that? I'm having lunch with Betsy. No, wait till she sees me. I look like $1,000,000.
Yes, just go. Running and shut up for practice. What? You forgot the lips and onion soup mix and a non-fat sour cream. Don't look at me like that, Niles. I just wanted Brian to be involved in something a little more virile, like musical theatre. I was supportive of that. Don't you remember? He refused to come to my first production, Sound of Music. Staged that when I was just 17. And all because I wouldn't do what he wanted me to do. Shut up, Niles. Looking at sweet in Atlantic City.
Done, sir. Trump Castle, ocean views for the entire family, and I can't wait to hit the slots.
Well, mind you, with this fine in the tournament, you'll have to take care of the children.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Here, think I'm coming down with something.
Ladies.
A pose, a voice,
A laugh.
Well, you came up with that list pretty fast.
It would be a monumental task.
Impossible.
Red. I'm an empty canvas, a blank slate. I'm just guts right after you shake it.
All right, you're on. We have 24 hours to turn this breath of fresh air into a stale, pretentious snob.
In other words, Miss Babcock.
George, I think he's got it.
Old tones, Miss Vine. How now, brown cow?
Oh, no. Not with the marbles. I've swallowed 3 and passed 2 already. Brown cat. If there's going to be any cows at the party.
That's what you think.
Party, Miss Vine.
Yes, let's try to capture that elusive letter R.
What?
Your accent, it's so odd.
Inescapable.
I don't see an R coming out of your house.
That's because we're British. Yes, we can say anything we like if people think it's Shakespeare.
Meet after me. Mark went on a look after dark in Central Park.
Gee, I hope he has a gun.
Miss Fine focus.
I've never had any complaints before.
It's a way they move from side to side.
Well, I've never had any complaints before. What's the matter? These ladies don't have hips?
Not really, no. But flat bums. But who's looking?
Perhaps we should move on to conversation, sir.
Oh, now that's my area of speciality. I am not Works.
Several topics which are appropriate in any social setting. The weather, current events, literature.
Think literature for option, Alex.
Try a soft, breathy, and close.
You're knocking my style. Fine. Except for that brief cornrow period after I saw a 10.
This beige frock.
Dress bag.
Two holes in a string of cardboard.
You know, one amazing Ginsu could do it all.
Well, let's start again. The salad course has arrived, and you pick up your...
The salad bar.
And wrong again. It is your shrimp fork.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm getting shrimp salad.
We finished our meal. What do we do now?
Well, if you're at my mother's house, you open your pants and flop on the couch.
Guess again.
Oh, yeah. Hard, but refreshing.
Inside is your finger bowl. It's for washing the fingers.
What, these people can't afford wet naps?
Sale. Did it. We did it. We did it. We said we would do it. Indeed, we did it. How many was that? One. Say we take a lunch.
Hold his sweaty ankles while he does sit-ups. And he's wearing really baggy shorts. Are you getting the picture here?
Now, the man has just had a heart attack. We have to try to show a little more consideration.
Daddy, I was just wanted to say
Somebody's gonna know about it. Tea is lukewarm. Did you?
Oh, that work it out is paying off big time, mister.
208. Wear something.
Velcro?
Yeah.
Maggie Magic Chicken Cube! Umili na ako. Dito pa ako. Mas masarap talaga itong Maggie Magic Chicken Cube. Because it. Para sa tinona ko. Look! Maggie Magic Chicken Cube. Vanilla down, town, base, stomach, drown, as these sounds come in.
I hope you too. In the old days, when the last time this things that hate my guts for no apparent reason. Yeah, probably next week. We can afford it, Please shed some light on this. I mean, you're a woman. I'm still waiting for the DNA result.
You men just don't get it. She doesn't hate you, it's her. She doesn't have a boyfriend. She has a dad. There's no prospect she's working for a man who hardly knows she's alive. Her own dog hates her. A blind date stole her stereo. was I talking about again?
Think about it, sir. 1 year ago today, someone's spike heel dug its first divot into the parquet floor. What you going to get that face? Come closer. Today, since we first learned, if it ain't hot, it ain't on sale. But you just used it to the point, old man. Work with me, sir. It's her anniversary. Oh, it's going to be preposterous.
I mean, you've been working here forever. I have the faintest idea when you started. You don't go off all half-cocked.
I keep the herd inside, sir. You also forget my birthday. So that's all right, too.
On 9? Are you seriously telling me that Miss Fine is the type of person to hold it over my head just because I said...
Well, it's too late to send flowers.
Mine? She is the nanny. I have been your partner for 10 years, and we've never celebrated a damn thing.
Yeah, sounds like it's still...
To get to the airport. You are not going to miss this ceremony. I can't walk down the aisle alone.
I say prepare for the inevitable.
Yeah, I gotta go, sweetie. No, you can't talk to them now. Okay, here they are.
You need to talk. I've got such exciting news.
Calm down, calm down. They're not geniuses. That was Niles. Okay, I'm gonna go now. I love you too. Mwah.
One thing that separates me from all the successful people in this world.
Success?
Yes.
Oh no, you didn't write another episode.
No. Yeah, this is a new play. A friend of mine wrote it, and it's wonderful. I'm going to show it to Mr. Sheffield. He'll love it, produce it. He'll be his partner, become rich, and finally be able to get out of this stinking, rotten excuse for an existence. Not that it hasn't been a blast. We have something very important to discuss with you, and I know you'll listen, since you have great respect for my opinions.
Oh, by the way, have you scraped off my writing boots like us?
Yes. So, I've discovered a wonderful new play that I would consider selling, giving to Sheffield Productions in exchange for becoming a partner. Okay, co-partner, associate, junior, assistant. All right, fetch the lattes.
We, as old man, I run the business, you run the school. I'm good at my specialty, you are wonderful at yours. You wouldn't want to go to the middle, but I consider to be one of the more successful partnerships.
No, of course not, sir. Thank you, sir. Although I'm lost in exchange with you. What is I thinking? She's only ever going to think of me as just a domestic. No.
So you doing all this to impress the woman?
Well, maybe. A little. Sort of. I do.
You doing what?
Well, maybe. A little. Sort of. I will. I'm just dreaming. There's no way that she would ever consider me.
Oh no, you're not still writing to Petula Clark, are you?
No. This isn't an infatuation. No, this is deep. I think this might really be it.
Well, have you told her how you feel?
Oh, God, no.
Well, you gotta let her. I mean, what woman wouldn't be thrilled to have you in her life?
Hello.
Yeah, little mousy.
Just wanted you outside.
And then they're going to kill you.
Why are you being so macho? It's really unattractive, yet somehow eternal.
Miss Fine, need I point out to you that the inspectors from the Professional Butler Association are coming Monday to observe my work and decide whether to accept me as a member.
Oh, really? I thought you were joking. It sounded so ridiculous.
Yeah,
sounds an important way.
From a long line of butlers, each one a member, until my father, butler to the Duke of Carlisle, accidentally knocked over a box.
After that, they kicked him out.
He was wrestling naked with the Duchess at the time.
Duchess was a sheepdog.
Sorry to disturb you. We're from the Professional Butlers Association. We're here to observe
And he that's most
we're time person to show up early to catch the prospective member away from us.
is he fine?
I'm afraid not. Is
Well, y'all come back and sit. Yeah.
why not be good? If they think to observe us, they need to confuse him with someone else.
And
It's you want them to
person from the Butlers Association. They want to talk to me and him, Max, about Butler, Niles, who isn't here. You got a place.
You fellas also butlers?
Yes, we
I'm surprised you're not at the museum.
Hey everybody, welcome back. For a kid that isn't mine. So, girl, the relationship was bad. She was very controlling and abusive. It ended up really bad, and we broke up. I kept going on with my life, and after some years, I had a decent job, enough to solve all my needs. I have a comfortable life, and I have some savings. The thing is, a couple months after getting my job, my ex contacted me. She first asked me to talk. I believe she may wanted to reconnect or something, but she showed up with a 5-year-old child, claiming he was my son and demanding child support. I didn't believe her, but the child's age matched the time since we cut contact. I got advice from a lawyer, a friend of mine, to try and solve this out of the court. Did you take a DNA test? How do we know? How do we know it's no kid? I offered to take responsibility, pay all the costs, and be an active part of the kid's life, only after a DNA test. You just took a DNA test, found out. Time to guilt. Is it in poor taste to quote Lizzo? It might be. Everyone was okay with this, except for my ex. Now, that we couldn't possibly be that she's worried about what the outcome will be. Oh, because she cheated. She acted offended and demanded to just give her the money she deserved. No, not without proper confirmation that that is your child. She used all the excuses she could, even contacted my family and told them I was trying to avoid taking responsibility of her child. I find it interesting that she contacted you right after you
suddenly have money and a comfortable life. When she ran out of excuses and the DNA test was finally made, surprise, I'm not the father. You are. She was so mad with the result and cried about the money, saying it was unfair and she deserved it. But she didn't accomplish anything. Like, just go to the real daddy. Like, why don't you just go to the real dad? Oh, right, because she's in it for the money. Money. Moving on to last week, there was a little party at my parents' house. My brother, a friend, and I were talking, and my brother started to joke about the situation with my ex. My friend and I are starting to joke about it too. Some of our comments were a little dark and bad, but we were far away from the rest of the people. Literally, we were on the opposite side of the house, and nobody else could hear us. At least, that's what we thought. We were laughing like crazies when my sister appeared very angry and pushed me against the wall. She spied us and heard our conversation, and she was very mad. She started to yell at us about how horrible people we were for mocking a poor woman. I mean, you can sympathize with her situation, but not with the fact that she's trying to get money out of you. A few hours later, when the party ended, she asked me to go to the kitchen with our parents, and she said how awful I was for the previous situation. Apparently, my ex had been in contact with her, and she believed her version, and that was her way to have an intervention. So I'm sorry, your sister believed your ex, despite there is a DNA test and factual proof proving that you are not the father. I understand that. My brother and I were like, are you serious? When she started to say how I forced my ex to be a single mother. No. That's not you. No. I have a moral obligation to help her. Wait a second. So this is also the ex that was like abusive and controlling toward you? What? My dad only said that we maybe were being too cruel, making jokes about her, but that I wasn't responsible for that kid, period. My mom then surprised all of us when she said, even if the kid is not yours, you're making more than enough money to support that child, you should have helped her. Okay, no, see, maybe if you had known the child before, and maybe if you had had a good relationship with your ex, if you felt the moral obligation to help this person. She was good to you, maybe you loved the child, something like that, but you don't know this kid. This woman was awful to you. You don't have a moral obligation to help anybody in this situation. Not your baby, not your problem. Since then, I've been receiving texts. My dad and brother are on my side, saying I'm not responsible for her, but my sister is telling me how horrible I am for ruining their lives. Okay, listen, you didn't ruin their lives, okay? However, your ex got pregnant. Maybe it wasn't the most ideal situation, but that is not your fault. My mom said it's your decision and I respect it. I'm disappointed you ended up being so selfish. I'm sorry, did your ex go to the women in your family with some sob story and crying and stuff to get them to sympathize with her or something? I fail to understand, does your family not know how horrible she was to you? I know she doesn't deserve my money. I don't to give her any, but the constant harassment of my sister trying to kill me is just exhausting. Okay, so why is her sister decision? I don't see why she feels so strongly about this. Tell your sister she's so concerned she should give your ex money since she has so much to do with conceiving a child as you did. Not true. Situation, by all means, let's see that checkbook, honey. It's not just that. She cheated on him when the child was conceived while they were together, putting him at risk of STDs, and then tried to scam him, claiming the child is his. So no, she does not deserve a penny from him. I really don't understand why your sister is being so weird about this. Plus, why 5 years? Yeah, why did she wait 5 years? You didn't even know this child existed. Did the baby daddy bounce all of a sudden? The timing is suspicious for an inciting event to trigger the contact. Yeah, no, something definitely happened, and it says OP got a job. She smelled it. She smelled it. Just because you have money does not make people entitled to your money. We have an update. It's been a while. After my last post, I read all the comments and decided to show them to my mother. We had to talk about the situation. Again, she started on my ex's side, but after reading the post and all the comments and opinions, she realized she was wrong. Well, that took a while. I think the thing that hurt her the most was all the doubts about if she cheated on my dad and I wasn't his son. Oh, and that was the reason that she was on her side. Oh. Interesting. Yeah, it could be a case of projection. I just fail to understand why they're putting the woman who treated their son so badly above their own son. Like what? She told me she believed my ex because she was always so nice and kind with her, and that she decided to not believe me when I told her all the things that she did to me during the relationship, because a good girl like her could never do something like that, so I must be lying. Oh, absolutely not. Hell no. What kind of mom is this? Honestly, if I tell my mom one negative thing about a friend or a boyfriend, they're done. They're literally dead to her. I inherited that. If my friend tells me something bad about an ex-boyfriend or a boyfriend they're currently dating or a friend that treats them poorly, dead. Dead to me. Blocked. Doesn't matter if they were nice to me. After that, she apologized to me. We are good now. On the other side, my sister, at first she decided she wouldn't talk to me until I take responsibility, but after some days, I talked with her. She's totally on her side, even after showing everything. She said that none of that matters because a woman's word goes first, and that's all the proof anyone could need. I'm sorry. Being a liar is not gender specific. Also, she said, even if you're not the biological father, you have an effective responsibility with her. No, you don't. So you must be man enough to take charge of them and start acting like a real man. She was a lost cause. No. It would have been different if you had known that child since it was a baby. I have friends that had, an ex-wife that knew the child very well, and after they got after they separated, then they felt kind of like a responsibility to be in that child's life as a father figure. Like, he didn't have to do that, but I can understand that. You had no idea this child existed. She was awful to you. She probably cheated on you. You have literally no moral obligation to this child and to this mother. About me, I did some research and found out that shortly after we broke up, she started dating another guy. Or maybe she was cheating on me before, I'm not sure. They broke up some weeks later and she had multiple dates until she found out she was pregnant. I also found that she was trying to find a father for her kid for the last 2 years, which is next on the list. But it looks like she's desperate now because she's never been aggressive with anyone before. She said. And then now the reason for this is 2 weeks ago, my ex-sister came to me. Hell no, this is insane. They made a big sign on my face that says he abandoned his child and irresponsible father. They started attaching drama, saying all these things. Their intention was to shame me and use the social pressure to force me to take charge. They literally said it. To not make the story too long, they were taken out of the place. I got problems for the scandal even after showing all the proof and legal documents that show they were lying. I was told that this better never happen again or I will be fired. I mean, I fail to understand how they expect you to provide for your illegitimate son if you don't have a job. After I contacted my friend, the lawyer, and we are now redacting a very long, detailed paper against them, my ex and my sister too. And now I'm being against them with everything. You gotta scare them out to me. So, I can't understand why. We have one final update. First of all, I'm not allowed to talk about the lawsuit. The most I can share to you is that my ex was extremely freaked out when she knew about it. Good. That's good. People always like to act a fool until there's lawyers involved, and then they shut up real. Nice little cease and desist. She's now begging to drop it. She offered to take back everything she said, to never bother or contact me again. She tried to guilt me into saying that I would be ruining her and her son's life, but honestly, I don't care. I got tired of being the good guy a long time ago. She messed with me, now I'm fighting back. You should, babe. Don't take that. You can only be the good guy for so long until someone just pushes you so far over the edge that you gotta push back, babe. You gotta push back. And for my sister, the lawsuit at first only made her worse. As her attempt to shame me and my job didn't work as well as she wanted, she moved it to social media, spreading her BS about me abandoning my child or not taking responsibility, and exposing my legal actions like acts of censorship and misogyny. I don't comprende. we not understand facts. At the end, that will be the worst for her, not only because I can dismiss her defamation easily, but also there's more evidence to our favor. While also defaming you? This is dumb as hell. What a spectacle. If you're ever involved in a legal dispute about something, the stupidest thing that you can do is post about it on social media. Talk about it publicly, post about it on social media. That is literally the dumbest thing that you could possibly do. Recently, we had a posada at my parents' home. Every year, we use this excuse to make a big family party before Christmas. I had my dad since I didn't want to be near my sister, but after some relatives assured me that she wouldn't be there, I decided to go. Big mistake. She was there. Mom decided that despite everything that happened, I was taking all of this too far. So she wanted us to meet to solve this problem as a family. We got out of there the moment I realized what was intended, but some relatives tried to stop me while my mom cried that I needed to stop. I was tearing apart the family and needed to learn to forgive and let go. I just find it so funny that, like, whenever there's, like, a family altercation that's not your fault, you are the one that's being told that you're in the wrong. When none of this would have even existed if she and your sister didn't try and force you to provide for a child that's not your own. I realized that despite everything, even knowing I was telling the truth, she was still on my sister's side. I got out of there saying that I'm not attending any family event ever again if she's there, and don't ever think of trying this BS again. At this point, almost all my family knows what she did. Some of them think my sister is crazy, and maybe, yeah, a little bit. Some think she is crazy, but I'm taking it too far. A couple days ago, my mom invited me to spend Christmas with them. I didn't want to go after what she did, but I decided to give her a chance after she swore that it wouldn't happen again. But not only did she plan to do it again, her mother warned me that this time she intended to lock me in until I forgave my sister and stopped the nonsense. I called my mom and told her that I was done with her and my sister. Don't talk to me until she realized she supported the wrong person and to apologize. I don't need to see how many times she tried to call me in the following hours and all the drama she made when I didn't show up. But again, I'm tired of being the good guy. As a 59-year-old woman, mom, and grandmother, it has always astonished me that any woman would attempt this, especially when it's so easy to find out the truth with the help of a DNA test. Literally, like, there is no refuting that truth. None whatsoever. Not only are they lying to their children, but trying to trap a man into paying support for a child that isn't his is completely despicable. Agreed. That's a big hell no for me. You're also depriving the child of ever knowing who their real father is. That's a good point. But maybe it's not about knowing who the father is. I feel like it's about the money. All right, I got one more for you, and I promise it's worth the wait. Thank you for sticking around. I really, really appreciate you. You're so cute. Entitled ex-girlfriend wants the engagement ring I gave her because she broke up with me before I could propose. Gets arrested for her troubles. A while back, I was dating this girl for roughly 2 years. I thought things were going great, but apparently she was just dating me because she liked to tell people that she was in a relationship. I don't know if you mean that. No, that's how it went with her. The way she described me was too immature, was in bed, honestly not worth the rest of my life. Exact words she said to a friend after we broke up. I went out and I bought a ring. I had this entire thing planned out to propose to her. However, she was suddenly not available for several weeks. Oh, ooh, yeah, the slow breakup, eh? Slow breakup. Well, my fears rang true as she suddenly showed up at my place one day. She acted like everything was normal as we talked, and she was grabbing everything that was hers. Oh, not even like a conversation or anything? About halfway through, I just kind of looked at her and said, don't forget your hair dryer. It would be awkward to come back over after you dump me. This was a long conversation where she was fake crying, but then I was right then and there that she's an idiot. You're not allowed to be a fake. She's an idiot. The way she acted, the way she spoke, and the way she treated me just screamed that she didn't care. I was devastated, but seeing her made me angry. I realized she was lying to me business the whole time. I don't stop being in relationships with people that they don't like. Like, I cannot stand people. The only people I can stand are the people that I actively choose to have in my life. If I don't like you, they're not going to be in my life. End of story. Let alone in a relationship with someone that I don't like. Hell no. About a month later, a friend of hers called me up, asked if she could come over and talk. I asked why. She said my ex pissed her off and she wanted to tell me something. My mind goes to horrifying things like she needs to warn me, see a doctor, and things like that. Well, when her friend came over and we chatted for a while, her friend was beyond pissed off. She about how ending the relationship pissed her off. So her way to get back to her friend was to sleep with her ex-boyfriend. Me being in my mental state, I said, yes? Wait, oh, okay, sure. Or like I said, yeah, sure, we can do that if you really want to. I mean, like, I'm not, like, opposed to it. So she ends up staying over for a few days, and we get to talking about my ex. I tell her about the ring, and she had the best idea to get back at my ex. Let's lay down in bed and post a pic of ourselves with a ring between us. Ooh, oh gosh, oh, that's messy. Yeah, I thought it was a terrible idea, but I wanted my ex to feel like crap, so there you go. Not even 2 hours later, my ex was at the door. We posted the picture at like 11 a.m. and she was at my place at 12:40 or something. Right after that, she tried to act like breaking up with me was a mistake. Huh? She said that I was the best boyfriend she ever had. She was getting scared with how serious things were getting. So seeing a picture of the ring suddenly made her want to get more serious. She said she made a terrible mistake in breaking up with me. Well, duh. Well, her friend immediately goes into a rant about my ex, saying she was manipulative, and that neither of us would believe this sob story she was giving. Gotta say, I'm very glad her friend was there because my stupid ass was believing my ex. I reminded her of how she treated me when she broke up, and that she should go home. She was wasting her time. Well, now she brought up the ring. She said she was owed it under the law, and that rings are gifts, and that I cannot take it back. But you didn't give it to her. You didn't give it to her. She broke up with you before you give it to her. In unison, me and her friend said I never gave it to her. We both looked at each other and laughed as the absurdity of the situation was getting outrageous. She said she was owed that ring and she was not leaving with me. You sound crazy. Like, this is crazy as hell, bro. Get out of here. And about this time, a police officer came up the stairs wanting to know what the trouble was. I guess we made enough noise that the neighbors called the police. The female officer asked what the situation was. Everyone was trying to talk at once. The officer shut us down, pointed to my ex and asked her what the problem was. She said she was trying to pick up her stuff after we broke up. She asked me if that were true. I explained the situation of how my ex broke up with me before I had the chance to propose, and she was never given the ring. Throughout the conversation, 2 more officers showed up, one a supervisor. The whole story was explained like 4 times. It's a good thing that her friend was there too, because like, it's her word against yours, but because you have a witness, you know? At one point, my ex said the ring would let her pay off her car. There it is. Well, she should have thought of that when she broke up with me. Ever see a moment where someone says something so outrageous that everyone looks at them in utter disgust? Responding with the ring isn't expensive. I bought it used off a website, and I reminded her I'm in IT tech. So this wasn't a ring that was 10 to 12K, more like 1 to 1.5K. Oh yeah, did that change her opinion? Suddenly she doesn't want it? The anger and rage that came over her face was immediately apparent to everyone. She stepped forward and punched me in the chest in front of the police? Oh, hell no. She put a squeeze to me before being tackled to the ground by the female officer. Girl, you sound kind of stupid. You dumb. The supervisor on scene told us to go inside while they get her under control. We did. About 10 minutes later, they came back. They wanted my statement. I told them I didn't want to press charges against her, but they said, yeah, it doesn't work like that. We saw it, so it's being processed. She ended up getting a misdemeanor offense for it. Whoa, that is nuts. I need a second to recover from that show. Just for the record, in case anybody's confused. Engaged 3 section to the guilty. In this instance, it's a guilt and contemplation of marriage. She would have to give it back in or learn from Judge Judy. Supreme Court made a final ruling. The ring has to go back to the buyer or original owner if the engagement was broken. But if the wedding happened, even if it was a family heirloom, it stays with the person who bought the ring. Right. That's fair. There wasn't even an engagement. So unbelievably delulu and entitled. You dodged a bazooka, the woman, my friend. But there's something very satisfying about how that ended.
Diba? Hydration packet, right? Oh,
Was so obsessed with me. With his mother, Karen, 56 female, playing the role of Regina George's older, superior, powerful wife. It was so good. So good. It's always been super complicated. Like, the person says, oh, the way the things are, because I hate drama. I hate conflict. I'd rather swallow my whole than deal with the awkwardness of an argument. But Karen is turning me into the kind of person who screams into pillows. But I'm also always going to sit overbearing. First, she insists it's typical overbearing. You know, that no one is good enough for my son. Right? But this is different. She's not outright rude. It's worse than that because everything she does is wrapped in this helpful package, which makes me feel crazy for even getting upset. At my bridal shower, she stood up and gave this health speech, and it was, I don't know, but it was so, I'm passionate. And then I feel like it really keeps things interesting. Everyone laughed when I said that she's part of this little clique of family friends. Think adult cool moms who are mounting yoga gear and drink wine like it's their personality trait. Oh, I know the type. Okay? They probably wear Lululemon or I don't know. They made me feel like an outsider in my own engagement ring. I swear, I was like 7. They were trying to this lunch table and they could hear me. Well, they hear you, baby girl. They're just choosing not to. She gifted me a book called The Art of Being a Good Wife. When I awkwardly left, she said, oh, it's spiritual. And marriage can be challenging for the with no clear coding. I can appreciate it. I always think that people who gift like self-help books, it's very grounded. How to do it properly, you know? Like if someone gifted me ego is the enemy example, I'd be like, what you trying to do? Be what? And like what? To be grateful, be grateful. Guide to nurturing your marriage. A book by a man. Some qualities of a good wife include respect. Respecting your husband's needs to feel respected can help him respond lovingly toward you. The Spark Notes version of it, or the AI overview. Being able to communicate openly and effectively with your husband can help strengthen your relationship. Being supportive and trusting in your husband can help achieve his goals and be the best version of himself. Being appreciation for your husband can help strengthen your relationship. This is all about the husband. So this is literally all just about pleasing. At a family dinner, she glanced at my plate and said, wow, was right with French dining, huh? This is over. So she could see that. Food change. I didn't even know this was that a compliment? This was both.
You insulted me?
Yeah, she's like, honestly, she's an artist at these backhanded. She constantly forgets basic things about me. She introduced me to people like I'm an African. Fiancé out there, right? She has this numbers or something. Like she forgot her name. I'm a Dublin. I'm just doesn't care to remember. She sounds like a peach. The worst part, James doesn't see it. Yeah, because I'm sure that she maybe doesn't do it in front of him, or maybe he's so used to it he doesn't see, or maybe he's just pandering to her. I don't know. And he says, "Nerves, of course." He's not a mom's boy. He's just trying to sell stuff because he's grown up with it. And to be fair, women who are like this don't think and just reserve. My family, they're to keep the peace. My mom literally said that she was just like personally, okay, but why does her anxiety grow? Because today, the only person who's truly impactful is Nina. She's the kind of friend who's quite a bear for me. She's witnessed Karen's behavior firsthand and seen her out in full light, cutting way back close to my hearing. I mean, because like, is he just talking about this place? Like, I think women are much more emotionally focused than men. More emotional, just like more perceptive about certain behaviors because we've witnessed it firsthand. Okay, like we've all met a woman is like this, and you only recognize it until you've seen it yourself. Men tend to be like almost like ignorance is bliss sort of thing. Like they don't seem to be as like quick to be a threat in the same way that women. But like make no mistake, when you sense that there's some sort of threat or like the energy is just off. Oh, you're right. 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 I'm talking right now. Right. She's also been gently trying to push me towards standing up for myself. I would actually like kind of agree with her. You're also sort of like letting her talk to you this way. Not to say you deserve it. It's almost like she thinks you're too weak to stand up for yourself, so she just sees you as an easy target. And maybe if you did, she'd respect you a little more. This kind of like messing with his wife and how his mother-in-law absolutely hated his wife for the longest time until she, talked back to her, and then all of a sudden now we're besties. That's what I think of when I look at this. Now here's the thing. I've seriously considered calling off the wedding, but the idea not just because I love James, but because dealing with the fallout sounds like my worst nightmare. The awkward conversations, the disappointment, the feeling of having failed, it's enough to make me want to crawl under a blanket and never come out. I can totally agree with you on that. I just also feel as though I really wish your husband, or your future husband rather, was a little more, like to hurt you a little more in how you feel. Because you're not crazy, you're not. It also would probably help if he said something too, and it wasn't just up to you to stand up for yourself. To your mother, standing up to a bully is hard. When bullies feel like they're wrong, and they feel wrong because other people, like, you've gone back, right? You're not as of a target anymore. That's why I feel so strongly about, like, when people is getting bullied, I tend to be on the side of the person who's getting bullied, because I never had anybody that stepped up for me, because I know that all it would have taken for the bullying to stop would be for someone to stand up with me. So I'm always trying to be that person, because that's literally all it takes for a bully to back up. At the same time, I'm scared of walking down the aisle with this junk in my ignored every red flag because I was too afraid to speak up. No potatoes. Yeah, is this normal wedding stress that everyone deals with? There's a difference between an overbearing mother-in-law and a mother-in-law that really just likes you. Even if she doesn't like you, she's got to bite her tongue and suck it up, because she's not marrying you at the end of teens, I told my brother the whole perspective. He would keep me on my side and he made me a reality check instead. Hey, Mariah, good night. This is on your wedding planning revenge at 8. I left no crumbs. I wanted to be thankful for putting my mother-in-law in place during my wedding. This happened a few years ago, but it's still brought up in family gatherings. So, what I did here was just turn it in because it's a bit long. As both of you put together, I just figured from sex. Then bring her in now, and 28 years before. Anyway, 32 people now at 24. I've been together for almost a decade now, but my relationship with always been rocky. First, my mother-in-law, let's call her Linda, made it clear she didn't think I was good enough for her son. She would make sense about my career. Oh, you're just a teacher. I love even despite her barely being able to boil water. My husband always supported me, but he also didn't like confrontation, so he often tried to smooth things over without fully addressing her behavior. When we got engaged, Linda's antics went into overdrive. She tried to hijack our wedding planning, claiming she knew what was best, and that it was her son's wedding too. You're not entitled to someone's wedding just because you birthed the person in the wedding. At first, I tried to include her in minor decisions to keep the peace, like helping pick out flowers or giving input on cake flavors, but she took that as a green light to try and take control. She started calling vendors behind my back, suggesting changes, and even tried to add guests to the list without asking me or my husband. Absolutely not. The breaking point came a month before the wedding. Linda called me in tears, saying she hated the dress I picked out for the bridesmaids. A simple, elegant navy blue. She demanded they wear something more appropriate. This is the picture for reference. There's literally nothing wrong with this dress. It's actually a really nice dress. And navy blue is one of those colors that, like, you could wear forever. It's not one of those, like, typical kind of wedding colors that's probably going to go out of style. What about this is not appropriate? I don't get it. I took this picture from Pinterest and hired someone to make the dress, and thankfully my bridesmaids loved it. I even told them they could add any extra fabric or change how it looks to their liking, just keep it the same color. When Tom explained that the decision had already been made and the bridesmaids all loved their dresses, I was just snapped, saying, well, if you want to listen to me, maybe I should have thought of that. How many people say that and they think that they'll do this? As you know, we expect people to say, I told her that was her choice, and I the wedding day, I was nervous but excited, trying to focus on the joy of marrying the love of my life. When I was getting ready, I made a couple of check-ins to me. Linda had shown up for the wedding. Yeah, I really can't. White, not cream, straight up bridal white. I felt my blood boil, but I don't want to cause a scene or let her ruin my day. So I took a deep breath and came up with a plan. Pulled my photographer aside and asked him to take extra pictures of Linda throughout the day. Group shots, candids, you name it. Anytime someone asked me about her dress, I'd smile sweetly and say, isn't it amazing how confident she feels in that outfit? Not everyone would have the guts to wear something so bold to a wedding. Ooh, a taste of her own medicine, eh? What? I even made sure to compliment her loudly in front of the guests, saying things like, Linda looks so radiant today. Doesn't she remind you of a bride? She couldn't exactly call me out without looking ridiculous. Later during the speeches, my maid of honor accidentally mentioned how much she admired my mother-in-law. Why did to make a statement like that at someone else's wedding? Linda's face got redder than the roses and the pieces. What do you think people would think when they showed up and went down? What did you think? Because if I see someone wearing white at a wedding that is not theirs, I immediately think energy. It's giving. Here's the kicker. Put a special section in our wedding titled Big Day. The photo was her in a white dress. I made sure to send her a copy as a thank you gift. It really was about planning her own wedding vicariously through you. It's been years, but I'm very proud of it. I made her look bad. She was herself bad. You just pointed it out. She claims she was directing the change instead of playing games. to your disrespect. But let's not forget what you did to deserve that reaction. Some family members agree with her and think I was petty, but others say she deserved it. My husband is firmly on my side and said I'd handle it better than he would have. So am I the a-hole for being petty and putting my mother-in-law in her place at my wedding? I mean, you were petty, but she also did something to kind of disrespect you. You didn't overtly say things like, wow, that is just so embarrassing. You gave her a taste of her own medicine. Like all the backhanded compliments that she gave you, you know, that are just like, oh, you're just a teacher. Your hair is unique. You should have said, oh, that dress is unique. Oh, that fashion choice was unique. But guess what? That proves that all those backhanded compliments, because that's what you did. You gave her a compliment. All backhanded in the first place. Interesting choice. You're probably the a-hole in Linda's eyes, but let's be honest, she's also an a-hole too. I've never understood like why people do this. Like, is it to draw attention away from the bride? Like, it's a very obvious choice, right? What we choose to wear really does say something about us, how we present ourselves. So what exactly is this giving other than either extremely ignorant or let's be honest, you wouldn't have even done that petty revenge if she didn't show up in the white dress, okay? That envelope would not exist. Not at all. She humiliated herself. Not the a-hole, I agree with her. She's just mad you didn't give her the reaction she wanted. What reaction was it? You didn't get? Did she expect the bride to just, like, cry in a corner? You killed her with kindness, giving her all the attention she apparently wanted. That's a very good point. She wanted attention. She wanted to make the day about her. And she got it. It is the side of it. You are. How my sister married a narcissist, and I left last lap. That was my sister. Let's call her Oakley. Functioning autism and was pretty shy growing up. She went to study abroad for 2 years. During that time, a guy in her class, Tyler, developed depression. He wasn't interested though. She lived on the West Coast and he lived on the East Coast, so she thought they'd never see each other again. Fast forward, and they both returned to the States, and surprise, surprise,
Ay, tayo, baby. Kain muna ako. Wait lang. Kain tayo, baby. Kain tayo, titi, papi.
did you know that when you remove
Wait
underwear,
lang.
when you remove the skin, use Dove Radiant Care Deal Serum made with skincare ingredients. Let's see it in action. Shaved it, waxed it, lasered it, Dove it. Reverse the damage with Dove. Hey, today we have a mission to summary about her mother-in-law out of her wedding. Did she deserve it? Let's find out. Mother-in-law falsely accuses father-in-law on our wedding day, then was removed from the venue after insulting me for my health issues. Interesting. I can't stop. I got some Uggs on. They're really fun. They're big booties. For context. Love context. My mother-in-law left her sons, then got divorced from my father-in-law when my husband and his brother were very young, and they lived almost full time with their dad. Their mom bounced around all over the place and was in and out of their lives until they were teenagers, and she met her now husband, which is when she finally stopped being verbally and physically can't say that on YouTube, but it's they didn't particularly enjoy their time with their mom, but she often talks crap about their dad and makes up stories to gain sympathy. My husband, 28, and I have only seen her about 20 times or so in the last 7 years we've been together. She's hard to be around for a list of reasons, boiling down to she's very negative and she's great at twisting stories, especially stories from the past. I know this plus is wrong, and I'm sorry for that. Oh, don't apologize about the I love alone post. Never apologize. Details and try to summarize as much as possible. But if you've like mine, really enjoy toxic mother-in-law stories, you might enjoy this read too. I think I will. Before the wedding, I was getting ready in the bridal suite with my bridesmaids and the other family members when my mother-in-law walked in. She said she wanted to hang out with me before the ceremony, so I sat down and talked to her for a minute. When mother-in-law was done going on about how excited she was for her big day too, she praised her boys for becoming the men they are today and said that she raised them right and was happy they turned out so well despite their dad's towards her and men. I was so dumbfounded, I just meekly said, "Excuse me." She said, "Oh, you didn't know that?" Like a teenage mean girl gloating to her ex-best friend that the boy she likes is going to prom with her instead. Where this is going. To clarify, my father-in-law never hurt anyone, let alone his ex-wife and sons. Ooh, a difficult game to be playing. Not a game we want to play. It's funny how she's rejected. When mother-in-law said the harush toward her and the boys was the reason she left, that she didn't want her boys to be around that, I had enough. Her lies were getting so big she wasn't even able to follow logic anymore to make it make sense. I stopped her and said I was sorry for what she went through, but asked if we could talk about it later because I only wanted to talk about that day, period, as you should. She says she understood that, but she felt like she needed to warn me before I officially started calling them family, and that I should be careful about what I believe because
my boys make up lies about me and were brainwashed by their dads.
interesting that she chose your wedding day to like come and warn you about these things. Like, what does she want you to do? Just like leave? I told mother-in-law I'm sorry, but I wasn't comfortable with the conversation and tried to end things there. But mother-in-law wouldn't let me go. She talked about how she used to be close to my husband's ex, and she wanted us to be like that. My sister couldn't hear any more of this, so she walked over and told me we needed to finish getting ready. I suggested that mother-in-law go visit her son in the groom's quarters. Mother-in-law insisted she would rather stay. Ooh, she kind of sounds like a dark cloud just ready to on your parade. The expression is rain on your parade, but I like the image of poo-poo more. I told her I really appreciated spending time with her before the wedding, but I wanted to spend some time alone with just my family and my bridesmaids to finish getting ready. And I'm sure my husband would like to see her too. Mother-in-law looked at me like I had just spit in her face and offended her entire ancestral line. Knowingly opened her floodgates of she accused me of poisoning her son against her. Oh, that took a turn. I thought we were like
Bestie.
I thought you guys were like
BFF.
the bridal suite. That I'm the reason he never visits or calls. I said that's not how my husband and I see it, and we could all talk about that later. But I would really appreciate it if she left the bridal suite for now. Mother-in-law went on about how messed up it is that I'm stopping a son from seeing his mother, and I'm an insult to women for treating her this way, especially since she was a victim. It doesn't really like there's a time and a place to be talking about stuff like this, even if she was a victim. Someone else's wedding day is not that day. Read the room. Okay? What have I said before on this channel? Do not bring problems to the bride on her wedding day. Her. My sister called her horrible for saying such terrible and inappropriate things and said no one believes her lies. The room went dead silent. Period. Oh, so that shut her up. Mother-in-law accused me of talking crap about her to my family, but I was done holding my tongue. I told mother-in-law it's not that I don't believe her, it's that I didn't want to be standing in our wedding venue in my wedding dress speaking ill of my father-in-law. I wanted this to be a happy day, but I was starting to get upset, and I wanted her to leave the bridal suite for now. Fair boundary. It's interesting how you express a boundary to certain people, and they just like do not respect that. She was still accusing me of alienating her son against her when my husband and brother-in-law walked through the door with a bridesmaid who had left to get them. The cat is here. I was so relieved to see my husband. I didn't even care about the fact that our first look picture was now ruined. He asked what was going on, so mother-in-law turned on the crocodile tears and she didn't know things escalated so much. Classic playing the victim. You're not the victim. Not at all. She was only trying to have an honest talk with me, and the next thing she knew, I was trying to kick her out of the wedding. This was, I wouldn't say that's an honest talk. I would say that's more of like a talking about her family and trying to convince you not to marry into it. I would say that's what she was doing. She said, I'm so sorry, honey, but I just feel like I'm always being excluded from things, and I just couldn't take that from her. Not today. I think she respectfully told you before you got irate that she didn't want that kind of energy around her. And I think that is a fair boundary to express. I reassured him I was not trying to kick her out of the wedding. I only asked her if she would leave the bridal suite while I was getting ready because I was feeling uncomfortable with the topic she was discussing, and she wasn't dropping it like I asked. I mean, yeah, you kind of only told her to leave after you said that, like, please don't talk about this. It's my wedding day. Like, I'd rather only talk about, like, happy things today. I want to feel, like, happy. I was in near tears, oh, bestie, from the situation and my anxiety. So my husband asked what exactly made me so upset. I told him I didn't want to talk about it right now. My husband asked his mom to apologize to me for now, and she said she would after I apologized to her first. For what? I told her I was sorry she was hurting, but that's all I was going to apologize for now. She briefly reverted back to her toddler days, waving her arms around in a temper tantrum.
Do you see how rude and disrespectful she is to me? Your dad and her turned you both against me.
My brother-in-law cut her off, asking what their dad has to do with it. My sister said that he didn't want to know, and she didn't even want to repeat the things she said about him. My husband asked if that's what upset me, and mother-in-law insisted she felt she had to warn me about him before we had any kids. It's gonna be a no from me, Dad. My husband said that was ridiculous because no one's talked to her about having kids yet. She said she knew my health issues would make it hard for me to get pregnant. What is your problem? And maybe that's a sign I wasn't meant to become a mom because I would be a horrible mom to the way I treated her. Weird. And if it turns out barren, she hopes my husband will take a step back to look at all the other red flags he ignored. Oh dear. What a high stress situation. This is like literally the exact opposite of what, like, you know, what this, like, the bridal suite is a very, like, symbolic thing, you know, like you're surrounded by the women in your life, they're uplifting you, you're all getting ready for this, honestly, one of the most important days of your life. It's supposed to be this very uplifting, nurturing experience. It's not supposed to be an excuse to talk about people and, like, bring this, like, negative energy. Like, it's an absolutely not for me. My husband said the only red flags he ignored were hers, and that stops today. He chewed her out for insulting me and trying to use my health issues against me. He called her out for her negative comments and selfish and manipulative behavior and said that's why they don't make more of an effort. Yeah. This thing about being like a negative person. There's a lot of people who thrive on negativity. You know, misery loves company, that kind of. Sometimes people just genuinely don't want to be around that. It's so draining to have a friend or someone in your life that is like so unbelievably negative all the time. And they just can't see that, like, you know, maybe in their mind they're trying to connect with you or whatever. But at the same time, not everybody wants to be around that all the time. They want to be around people that uplift them. It was all I could do to try to hide my smile when he told her he wasn't going to let her try to rewrite history. He was like a deer caught in headlights. Her surprised Pikachu face quickly dropped when my husband told her if our wedding day wasn't important enough for her to convince herself for once that he didn't want her at the wedding anymore. The magma, the liquid magma that was building inside my mother-in-law's volcano finally erupted. She yelled,
No, we couldn't do this to her, that she deserves to be here.
Like, these people are all trying to tell you, Miss Mother-in-Law, to change your behavior or to at least just kind of like reserve that kind of talk for a day that's not a wedding day. And you're not listening. How frustrating. She cried about how unfair this was, and she didn't want to miss our big day. That it'll be one thing she's excluded from, and she just can't take it. Okay, well, if you don't want to be excluded from things, maybe you need to listen to other people when they're telling you they don't like your behavior. She tried saying again she has nothing but good intentions, and she couldn't believe this was happening. But my brother-in-law wasn't having any of it. He said it was clear that she wanted to make a big scene to show us how obsessed she was, so she would stop everything and dote on her. Yeah, she's trying to make it about her. Honestly, like, she's trying to make this day about her. Even the comment about being like, ooh, her big day and stuff like that. This is not her wedding. This is not about her and her problems and how everybody hurts her and how she's the victim. Like, this is supposed to be a happy day. All she did was remind us why we don't pick up the phone and make more of an effort. My husband and brother-in-law never stand up to their mom because she lives far enough away and we only see her a few times a year. The thing is also, like, sometimes when you stand up to people like this, they literally just, like, don't hear you. Like, they play the victim and then you feel bad. But at and you know, like you realize that you can't express boundaries with certain people, which is why you kind of cut off contact, because it's like you're trying to communicate, and the communication is only one-sided, and everybody plays the victim and doesn't take responsibility. It's just easier to not. She lives far enough away, and we only see her a few times a year. They never really set any boundaries with her. They find it easier to deal with her toxic behavior in the moment and just move on. So witnessing all of this was like a beautiful Haley's comment for me. I know this is like super negative, and maybe she's like, you know, in some ways kind of ruined this moment for you, but I also feel like this kind of had to happen. When mother-in-law said she wasn't leaving until they worked it out, my sister opened the door connecting the venue to the bridal suite and stepped away to make room for 2 security guards to show up. I saw to my sister, who gave me a thumbs up. Mother still crying and begging my husband to let her stay, but he said the damage had been done. She turned to us and said they couldn't kick her out because she's the mother of the baby. My husband corrected her and asked her to leave. Security asked her to go with them, and she gave us all dirty looks, then started hyperventilating her protests. My husband asked her to leave again and told her that he'd give her a call after something. She gave him one dirty look and said he'd regret this. Finally, breaking up with security. Ooh, something comes into the heart soon, my foot. I know this was long. If you're still here, thank you for reading it through. My husband and I are going to take some reaches out to me. He's offensive. I even want a relationship with her after all. To be the door open for her or try to work it out, or would you to clear of her altogether? I feel like it's quite common for people to not only gaslight but play the victim when they feel attacked. Doesn't always mean that they're like a narcissist. It's more of just like a feeling of like, you know, when you like tell a little kid that they've done something wrong and they're just kind of like, they start crying. It's kind of like that. I think that this was a very heightened situation. It might be worth talking to her once everything has calmed down, and you could give her like a chance to apologize, but I wouldn't hold your we were saying steer clear, the cupcakes, and people were saying communication with that awful human being and stay far away from her. I mean, yeah, I think that it's easier said than done to do that with regards to like a mother-in-law, future grandmother, or whatever. If things calm down and she still doesn't take any responsibility for her actions, then you cut her off. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but like maybe give her like one more chance to explain herself, and then if you know you really can't reach a resolution, I have a feeling that you won't, but let's look at the update. Holy cow, that was my first ever Reddit post, and I did not expect it to kind of blow up. I wish I would have gone ahead and included a couple more details for extra context that I deleted in an attempt to keep this from being too long. My favorite part of what happened was my husband standing up for me. I did like that. But when the mother-in-law said to my husband that she had to warn me about his dad, he backfired with, oh, I know you're not accusing dad of what it sounds like you're accusing him, especially since you're the only one who ever laid a hand on it. He's never called her out or used that term with her before when I was present, and it was absolutely beautiful. But anyway, here's a small update since some have been asking. After my mother-in-law finally left, my husband apologized profusely for her behavior, and he honestly didn't think she was going to do something like this. I told him that fault and asked him for standing up for her and for me. It's kind of nice. Gallant, you know? He came to your rescue. Ooh. Fortunately, the rest of the night went perfectly. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. The only other issue we had was mother-in-law's husband, 2 family members chastising us, then leaving when they heard his mother was removed and why. His mother's sister, however, laughed and said she knew she deserved it. She only wished she could have been there to witness it with popcorn to enjoy. We recently got back from our honeymoon, and so we revisited the issue of his mother after giving it some time. My husband asked if I was comfortable even being in the same room as her. I told him I thought about it a lot, mostly about how uncomfortable I've always felt around her. It doesn't bother my husband when she's being insulting or when she attempts to emotionally manipulate them. They're used to it, and they basically ignore it. That's sad. That's the best way to deal with it, honestly. Even sometimes it's nice to like even say it as a joke, you know, with someone that's kind of being a bully, just like, can you not bully me for just like 1 second? Right? It's good for me to sit there and make me feel uncomfortable about doing the things that I know are lies. So now that he's finally talked about it and opened her eyes to the elephant in the room, I would probably feel more comfortable around her now if she were to actually show remorse for her behavior and respects our boundaries from here on out. And to those who are worried if we have kids. I hope I can put your mind at ease when I tell you my husband already made it clear he will never feel comfortable having her around our kids unless we are also present. And he will be comfortable letting them know. And then do to it. I think he should start standing up to his mom. But I never pushed the issue after he told me the reason he doesn't is because she did something traumatic when he last stood up to her when he was a teenager. See? With people like this, like, it's very, very hard to, like, express boundaries because especially, like, moms that are kind of, like, they have narcissistic tendencies, you can't tell them no.
Because they're your mom and you need to, like, respect your elders and, like, you wouldn't exist if it weren't for them.
It's like, oh, it's so much for you, whatever. They hold it over your head, right? It doesn't mean that they're never wrong, and it doesn't mean that, like, you as an adult can't tell them when they're hurting you. Like, that concept of mothers and fathers are never wrong really needs to, like, go away. I've only ever expressed my worry that the lack of boundaries would cause issues. And my husband acknowledged these past conversations and apologized to me. He said he wishes he made his boundaries clear with her, so maybe she wouldn't feel like she could get away with doing something like that to her. It seems like I've expressed boundaries and they don't respect them. That's the thing, because no matter what kind of boundaries you express, they don't listen. And that's why the no contact thing or the low contact thing is so important. We decided him calling her to see about going over to her house to talk to her. He's going to tell her that he will not tolerate any more negativity and manipulation attempts if she's going to be in his life. And if she can't handle the boundaries, then she's not capable of having a relationship with him or us. He's going over there this week, and I'm genuinely hoping it goes well. I think I will talk to her depending on how my husband's conversation with her will go. That's all for now. Let me know if you would like another update after he comes. He only updates, and thankfully we do have a third. Something tells me prediction. She's not the she's gonna play the victim. She's gonna manipulate. She's gonna gaslight. I have hope. I genuinely do hope that she's able to hear him out. I hope I'm wrong.
Hey, Mom.
She got the security deposit and was planning on sabotaging the wedding. Ooh. Hey, what is Regina here writing my teacup?
Let me see. I just want to take a second to thank you all for your support and advice you've given me. I posted the story with my husband and brother-in-law's permission, and they were very receptive. I need a lot of your comments to hurt. See, I love that. Even if I don't get to every story, which is, it's very hard to get to every story, I really like that you guys are supporting each other and giving each other advice. That means a lot to me. This is such a good community. They agree that their mother will never change, but they wanted to talk to her to lay everything out. The three of us sat down to talk about what we wanted to say. We thought they were prepared for a conversation with her until I got a phone call from the coordinator for the wedding venue. I know this is a long update. Personally, I think this is the best one yet, and I know you will like how it ends. Foreshadow. The venue coordinator awkwardly told me she regretted to inform me they would be unable to return the security deposit after calculated the damage clause of our contract. Absolutely not. I was obviously confused and asked why. Apparently, their cleanup crew noticed a Mary Jane smell from the groom's quarters and found that in the trash. Any smoking or substance use was strictly prohibited and was stated in the contract to be a violation. I immediately knew what happened before I even spoke to husband. I apologized to the coordinator and explained it was my mother-in-law who was removed from the venue. She said she was sorry to have the damper on our special day. Little did we know it was no damper, it was our savior. One of the details of my original post was when mother-in-law were in the bridal suite, before things started to go sideways, she offered to share her vape pen with me. She told me she brought it for fun and I should let loose, but I told her she couldn't smoke here.
It's not a big deal. It's legal here, right?
Mother-in-law protested. It doesn't matter. The venue doesn't allow it and we signed a contract. I reaffirmed. All right, I'll be outside later. I'm sorry, but you can't. You can't smoke anything anywhere on the venue, inside or outside. I really was dealing with a toddler. I told husband about it and he explained. She offered the to everyone in the groom's quarters, but they told her we couldn't smoke there. But when they all left to help finish setting up, instead of volunteering to help, mother-in-law and her husband stayed behind to husband and brother chastised them when they came back and found them and made them throw it out. Husband apologized for not telling me, and he said he didn't want to have any more negativity for me. He hoped they got the smell of smoking. really fast. One person suggested husband and brother-in-law should record the conversation with their mother, and while it was a great suggestion, none of us really felt comfortable doing that. So instead, husband called me and put me on speaker in his pocket so I could listen from the comfort of our home. Husband said he wanted to apologize to her before they got started. He said he was sorry for never being honest about their feelings for her, but before they got into that, they wanted to talk about boundaries. He expressed his disappointment in her smoking when they specifically asked her not to. When brother had to forfeit the security deposit, her jaw dropped. She blamed the venue for not having any no smoking sign. Okay, so what about the part where you told her that smoking wasn't allowed? What? Can we just get over this notion that we can't be wrong? I absolutely cannot stand it when you're in a disagreement with someone and they just can't be wrong. There is nothing wrong with being wrong. The way to get rid of a situation where you're in the wrong is to apologize and take accountability. We don't have to be perfect. No one's expecting anybody to be perfect. I'm expecting to be perfect. Anyways, that's not. When we don't take accountability, it just like makes the situation that much worse. Husband and brother-in-law said they were never going to let her try rewriting history again because they were too old to gaslight. Both brothers affirmed their truth. Mother-in-law said she believed them, but she swore they thought they meant cigarettes. When brother-in-law mentioned that the security deposit was a lot of money, mother-in-law said that she was sorry, but her smoking, a little bit, shouldn't have been a big deal. And she didn't see the harm since my dad paid for the wedding. He's loaded, and he will never miss the money. Yet again, we are not taking accountability. Husband corrected her and told her we paid for much of the wedding costs, including the venue, so she actually cost us money. He was actually going to make her pay us back. I mean, that's like honestly kind of the least she can do at this point. You know what? I should. We expressed a clear boundary and you still broke it for your own selfish reasons. And you should be offering to pay me back with an apology. That would be a great way for you to start making amends. But we're not going to put either one of us through asking you to do what's right. We're going to give you the opportunity today to show us you do care about us and our feelings. Mother-in-law shrunk down in a desperate pile of tears, shocked to learn that her sons thought she didn't really care about them and asked how they could possibly think that because she loves them so much. I mean, when you literally don't care about people's feelings and you don't care about harming their feelings, you kind of show that you care more about your own feelings and how people perceive you more than what you care about other people and their feelings. Husband later brought up the wedding incident and asked what to say about that now and what she would say to me if I was there. Mother-in-law resumed crying and said she felt like it was happening all over again, that she felt ganged up on and it was hard to sit and listen to. She said she thought they were coming to apologize for kicking her out of the wedding. Husband finally crossed the line of return. See, I told you I had hope. I told you I had hope, but I just, at least now you know for sure. In a heightened situation where there's, people feel attacked and stuff like that, it takes a little bit of time for people to calm down. Not everybody's a narcissist. People do get defensive. Being defensive isn't necessarily a sign of narcissism, but refusing to apologize and refusing to take accountability, like playing the victim constantly. I ain't a doctor. I ain't gonna diagnose. But with people like that, there's literally no hope. Like, there really isn't. He said he wasn't surprised that she thought that. He admitted that what they were trying to say is that she's selfish and is hard to be around, so we always have to walk on eggshells around her. But they love her and they still want a relationship with her, and while they weren't asking for her to change, they were setting and asking her to respect their boundaries with no pushback when they enforce them. I think toddlers take rules better than my mother-in-law took those boundaries. She argued and yelled everywhere she could. She told them that moms don't need boundaries. I beg to differ. If she was appalled that they thought it was okay to treat her this way, she raised them better than this. Just because you have a child does not mean that they are indebted to you for the rest of their life, okay? Yes, you raised them, you probably did a lot for them, etc., but that doesn't mean that you're never wrong. It doesn't absolve you of having to take responsibility when you hurt people. She admitted she knew she wasn't the best mom when they were growing up, but she tried her best and loved them with all their heart, and that's all that matters. She told them they don't know how bad things got for her. When she would disappear, it was because she was protecting them. Brother-in-law said that they might believe that, but asked what excuse she had for the mother-in-law was horrified at the accusation and fiercely denied any proof. She tried claiming it again that their dad brainwashed them and he was the culprit. But husband showed her a scar left by one of her long nails, proving it was her. Mother said she disciplined them as any other mother would and never meant to hurt them. Husband just scars easily. She tried joking about how they were bad boys. Oh, Jesus. Husband and brother-in-law stared at her coldly and said it was more than discipline that they didn't deserve. She said they couldn't understand because they weren't parents yet. She said no parent is perfect, but all parents deserve to go to their kid's wedding, and they had no right to take that away from her. No, if you're acting like an absolute nutcase, no, you don't deserve to be at a wedding. I'm sorry, you don't. Mother-in-law demanded to know if husband had any regrets. He told her he did, and they watched her smile slowly turn into a scowl as he explained. He regrets never setting any boundaries with her. He regrets spending the last 10 years of their relationship pretending her behavior was okay. He regrets never being honest about his feelings with her. But if he had, maybe she would have second thoughts about trying to ruin their life. Mother looked him up and became shrill.
Ruben, you think I wanted to ruin? Don't take me to hair salon. My hair gets its daily dose of provitamin from Pantene. Formula with provitamin B5 strengthens hair and helps build hair fall immunity for 10 times less hair fall. Pantene. Hold. Fight. Wait, I'm a teacher.
It's shit.
Your wedding. I'm so happy to be there. You have no idea what I was planning on doing for you and me.
Husband calmly asked what she meant by that. Turns out, mother-in-law had more good surprises up her sleeves. She said she was planning on talking to the wedding coordinator about switching up the ceremony. She thought it was unfair how the wedding party always goes last before the bride. So, instead, she wanted to walk down the aisle with husband right before my dad. Oh, she's Delulu for sure. She was even going to tell the coordinator to ask the guests to stand for their entrance so he would get as much attention as I would. Oh, gosh. She's clearly delusional. Like, as much attention? Also, one of my bridesmaids had to drop out because her due date was the same week as my wedding. I didn't replace her, so there was one extra groomsman. No big deal. My mother-in-law knew this, so she said she was going to stand in her place for her as my bridesmaid after just walking down the aisle with husband. Well, if her tirade didn't make you want to get rid of her, doing all of these things probably would have. Just out of curiosity, where in the lineup did you plan on standing? Brother-in-law asked. Right after her sister. That's where the bridesmaid would have been, right?
Oh, I'm just gonna make myself a bride. Oh, like you don't have friends, so I'm just gonna be your bridesmaid.
No, Bestie. No. It would have been a wonderful way for me to be a bigger part of your wedding. Then she also had planned on sharing a speech after the mother-son dance. We never approved this, and she never paid a cent for the wedding.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and read it to you boys. Maybe you'll actually regret the way you treat your mother.
Her speech started with her introducing herself and making a joke about how she was glad to be finally at his wedding, but he was also mistaking her as her husband because she had him so young. Oh my God. She went on that she just would be done more. Okay, so making it about her. She talked about how she was forced to leave her boys with him, and it was the hardest decision she ever had to make. She missed them. Every morning she woke up praying they were saved. Okay, this is not what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to talk about the bride and groom for God's sake. Yeah, but you, the parents are always ready when they have kids, and she's humbling to say she wasn't at first, but she thanks God for her boys every day because mom is who she was meant to be, and she never would have found that or herself without more struggles than most, but she was proud to say she was the best man that she knew. She ended her speech with how the boys were the light of her life, and she can't wait to see what life has in store for them. Husband asked if she really planned on doing that without all these things. And she said
It wouldn't have been a surprise if she told him.
he and his brother stood frozen, speechless. The mother-in-law said, "That's how much I care. I told you I were involved in the wedding. That was my way of showing you and me how much I love you both, and you ruined it. Dear Lord." She confessed that her parents knew she wasn't, but she tries to do better, and they can't see it because their dad painted her as the bad guy. Ben took her hand and sat her down on the couch. He softened his voice and told her he sees that and he knows she tries. He and brother their mom for getting herself together from when they were little. But husband said that just because she's trying doesn't mean she doesn't still make mistakes. He carefully pointed out that even her rationalizing those would have been surprises was manipulative, and it was selfish of her to impose herself like that on our wedding. And so this is exactly why there's boundaries from here on out. Mother yet again claiming they were the ones manipulating her. Treating her gestures of love like acts of the devil. She said that Dad and I were vilifying her. Maybe they would start to see her for who she really is, and they wouldn't need boundaries if they actually visited more. If she has any regrets about what she said to me at the wedding, she would apologize, but Mother-in-law says she can't apologize for doing what she thought was right. You can't apologize for upsetting people, even if you think it was right. I failed to see how, everything she said to the bride was. Husband and brother-in-law told her where we stand. Husband said he wasn't going to let her be around me at all until she proved she can respect boundaries without any pushback. Mother said those boundaries were harsh, and she thought it was disrespectful of her to have them at all. I mean, everything she's doing is disrespectful. Why is it that she's allowed to disrespect everybody, but when you tell her to stop disrespecting you, that's disrespectful? Like that? She asked what's going to happen when we have kids. If I babysit when she can't be around me. Okay, mom and sister making me say it. I've never felt comfortable with the thought of you alone with my kids. And after the wedding and now this, I don't feel comfortable with the thought of you even meeting them until and unless you respect boundaries. These are my not cookies. Mother yelled more, been cursing, raving about how this isn't happening, and life hates her because she didn't get a chance to really be a mom, and now she will never have a chance to be a grandmother. That's selfish, and they have no right to say this or do any of this to her. Brother-in-law pointed out they're not even asking her to change. They just want her to respect their boundaries, and they don't think it's a lot to ask. It's not. It really isn't. This is ridiculous. Husband asked if there was anything she wanted to ask of us. She asked for the opposite of every boundary he and brother-in-law had just set for her. And more phone calls and visitation, of course. Oh, and she wanted a full apology from husband, brother-in-law, and myself. And people that treat you always act like it's like a privilege to have them in your life, and it's like it's not. It's really not. You're kind of an ignorance, honestly. Isn't it crazy how you kicked her out of the wedding, and as soon as you did that, you had an amazing day? Husband stated he had enough of this, and they gave her every opportunity to show she's truly caring about them, but she made it for her at every turn. He told her it was ridiculous she couldn't compromise on the bare minimum for them. Husband said where they stood now was she had to accept their new boundaries, or they wouldn't be able to have a relationship with her. She said she didn't know them anymore, and all she sees now when she looks at them is their dad, and she doesn't want to know them anymore. They said, yes, that this was goodbye, and they're sorry that it came to this.
No, you aren't. If you were, you wouldn't be doing this. You'll regret this one day, and when that happens, I hope you remember that moms never close the door.
But I can say it face, right? Knowing you'll never have regrets? No, I don't think I'll have any. I just want to be able to reach the door through the giant wall you put up, but we'll keep that in mind. Love you, Mom. They came home to hug from me and a home-cooked dinner. I think the conversation healed a lot of the old wounds for them. Oh, goody. That makes me happy. I will support the healing process just like they supported me when I needed them. Thank you once again for your suggestions and support. We heard you all, and thank you for helping us get to this point. I hope you enjoyed the journey. See, the thing is like, it probably was very painful to have that conversation, but you know now. Like, you know for sure. This wasn't just somebody who was being defensive, heat of the moment, whatever. This is someone who literally does not take accountability, ever, even when they hurt people. And unfortunately, being a person like that, you're doing it to yourself. People won't want to be around you, and unfortunately, you'll have no one to blame but yourself. And going no contact or no contact is the only way to understand. I'm really glad that you guys said everything that you needed to say, and that your husband and brother-in-law said everything they needed to say. This healed something in me. Thank you for sharing. Bugaboo 934.
Ambitious and ever-changing business leaders. Get a hosting fact that will improve your business success. Use GoDaddy. Start the free GoDaddy.com.
sure there's a song called Somebody's Dead. Little bit.
She changed her description of body of 5 times, so I constantly back down people. The bride one very specific kind of love that it's essentially she changed the wedding for months. It was work, but a piece of work. Nothing I've always requested more and more. About it. Also, unless it was about the wedding. Idea what was going on in my personal life. For just about everything, because the people she kept inviting to the bridal party were younger, early 20s, I'm 27, bride is 33, and have no stable income.
I think she paid for it. It's her wedding. Like, you want to do one thing, you want to do nice gestures.
Made of art, like tradition, bachelor, and stuff like that. They probably do end up having to fork out some nice change for the honor, made of honor.
You sound like an honor to me, doesn't it?
But this sounds like work.
Maid of honor, theoretically. But then, like, something like a maid of honor.
You're like a lady.
Exactly.
It's really difficult. Well, pictures, custom gifts, a day off bag, my speech is beautiful, etc. But she was so good to me the entire day. She has a new BFF. She got one for the wedding, and they were attached to the hip. And all she but whatever. Everything, so I tried to ignore it. You were just her like wedding planner for anyone who has friends like cycles through friends, like you got high friends like that.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah. When she leaves to go to the after party with her new BFF. Not the entire venue, but that's my boyfriend after. Then we go home, right? Understand why you're like you weren't the wedding planner. Is it the job of the maid of honor? Not this thing.
Also enjoy as well.
Well, I say from party who I really with over this awful experience. She told me she didn't want to say anything to me, but she thinks I deserve to know because the party buying gifts for the bride and her kids. Her cousin told me every time I left the bridal suite the day of the wedding, the bride was announced in the room that she couldn't stand me. Oh. The roost weren't even there. So annoying. That's so mean.
Doesn't even acknowledge all the nice things she's doing for you.
Lets you all these nice things for her and feel some type of way about you.
You want her out. Why don't you give her $6,000 back?
Well, maybe because probably nobody else wants to do the dirty work.
Sounds like you're done with Bridezilla here.
I know what Bridezilla is. I'm on right now. She also had a separate chat with her sisters and cousins. Mind you, she sent me a Christmas list for kids last week. That's already this is solid. Everything is already. Honestly, really stupid. I blocked her on everything, and I don't ever want to message her because I know she'll somehow twist it around and make it my fault. This woman is 100%. The only thing that she messy around is that she was like, you were getting kicked out of the rotation.
Yeah, it seems like this person is the kind of person that, you know, lures you in with her fun personality in the beginning, and then when you get too close to her, when you really see her warts and all, she pushes you away, leaving you to walk.
say it is so unbecoming of someone to like everyone knows you like a person and you let that be like nice to you because you're still trying to benefit from the relationship.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's gross. It's like it's literally so brutal and like she's taking advantage of her kindness, but honestly, babe, you're also letting people take advantage of you. Right? But you should not have been doing all of this for this.
It's tough. I mean, you sound like a really good person, even through all of this. For wedding day, you didn't want to ruin it for her. Did everything that you promised to do, but it's just sad that this person took advantage of you. I mean,
I think that people are a little bit too
generous.
Hey guys, hey everybody, I'm Godzilla's daily whiplash. Married people on Reddit. I warn people first. Not my current wife. She decided to take a she will eat constantly on what's not to love. Trip for a few months after our wedding because that's stressful. Fast forward to then, she heads out for our departure port a day early to go hang with college friends. They took the first time against her state and she wears an answer for text. The text is worried. I call her close. They haven't heard from her. She's seemingly few hours ago. She's not going to. What in the hell? Turns out she shows up in the Miami airport. Joseph, he married into the person. He's great. So funny for me. Thank you for sharing. He did before she went in Disney World now, and it's really exciting to see them getting special treatment all over. He got nothing special. It feels like if you start over, yeah, that's the thing. With Disney World, their priorities make sure that I think that they could probably really pay. Yeah, speaking, if this is your favorite version for you, I don't think Disney World. You ruined my clothes up. I was able to Orlando for that. I was able to as we were negotiating our business and are very rarely anyway.
cameras and everything was fine. Well, the next day after the news, I get a couple coming roaring into my office, and the bride is quick to be tied. Not only was she taken aback by someone glaring at me, following conversation takes place. Hi, what can I do for you? Thank you, bride. Let me look at your booking. I pull out all my notes from the initial call from months ago. I supposed to do the wedding date, and then the post-mission line was go over everything with her and close. Oh, kids, close. It was a beautiful and I had everything close. Or ranting and raving, and sometimes you need to let crazy vent, they finish and get up and go. Nope, not this one. I'll take full refund of the airline tickets, cruise, and the hotel. But you still went to the thinking I want to be 6 foot and a great body, that's not happening either. Refund your money. For one, you're to Orlando. Two, you've been on the cruise. Three, you're still staying at the hotel. Okay, been on a cruise ship. And when you were in the Bahamas, if things were good. But things on the cruise ship were still open. And now you want your money back? I'll talk to your manager who saw that coming. He was. But who's manager? I am the manager. Insert cheating grin here. More screams. Let me ask you a question. You want this cruise line to end the trip?
Yes.
Did you want to travel to the States?
Yes. Because it was right after my wedding. I looked up right after my wedding.
How long on your wedding?
Almost a year.
So if I ask you to change your wedding date, what is that? Oh, looking at me like I have 3 heads. So if you weren't willing to change your wedding day, then why are you asking me to read something that I just can't change? The Bahamian government isn't going to change their Independence Day for you. Goodbye. Hey, they just wanted money back. That's all it was. Wait till someone tells this entitled bride about siesta. So you know when like half of Europe and Latin America shut down just because they want to take a nap in the middle of the day? Try to Italian that they're taking their siesta because you need to go to their shop. Just do it. You know what they're gonna say? Vaffanculo. Pay for my historic wedding, y'all. Hi, y'all. As you know, me and David are getting married. Soon I will be Mrs. David Blank. Blankety blank. Can you believe it? I can't. Oh, we are blessed that David's godmother has invited us to have her wedding at her estate in Maine. I'll share some photos later. It's gorgeous, and it's a historical landmark, which means my wedding is going to be historic. Oh, because we are having an out-of-state wedding, which means traveling and staying in hotels, and also I'm not for 1 month. 1 month? I'm asking for y'all's help with some of the wedding stuff. If anyone has any experience as a professional photographer, not a hobby but getting paid as a job, please contact me or David. We need you. This could be considered